You're watching Bloomberg West, where we focus on technology and the future of business. I'm Emily Chang, here with our editor-at-large, Corey Johnson. The Israeli ground assault in Gaza is escalating, with death tolls climbing on both sides. Gaza's health ministry is claiming more than 500 Palestinians, mainly civilians, have been killed since the Israeli offensive began last week. Meantime, the IDF has lost 18 soldiers during this offensive. So, how has technology helped in the efforts to avoid even more casualties? Red Alert app creator Ari Sprung joins us now via Skype from Jerusalem. Red Alert is an app that warns Israelis of a coming rocket strike. And we're also joined by Uzi Rubin, who led Israel's missile defense on the phone from Gadara. Israel, gentlemen, thank you both for joining us. Uzi, I will start with you. You know, we've heard a lot about the technology and the sophistication of the Iron Dome, which helped prevent Israelis from rocket attacks. Can you explain how exactly this works from a technological perspective?
Well, the missile defense system works like an air defense system. That means you have a radar or another sensor that sees the target. You calculate the trajectory of your threat. You calculate where's the best place to meet it in the skies, and you send an interceptor missile to meet it there and look at it and shoot it and kill it. It sounds simple when I say it. The principle is simple, but implementation is quite difficult, because this is like hitting the bullet with a bullet, you know. The incoming missile is flying at about twice the speed of sound at least. We're talking about a short-range missile, or longer-range missile, probably faster than that. And you have to find it. It's a small target. You have to find it in the sky and really hit it precisely. So, as I said, easy, say, difficult done.
So, Ari, let me ask you. You know, Uzi's missile defense system really was a response to other failures in the past using new technology. I wonder what new technology you are using with Red Alert that wasn't possible in the past.
Well, basically, Red Alert, I created it 2 years ago before I started working here at Curio. It's very basic technology, and technology that any app developer could use on any date he wants to. I mean, we're not using anything so sophisticated here, but as the numbers of people who are subscribing to our app, we see that the technology, we have to get the notification out as fast as possible. So that's a real challenge here, technology challenge here, is to try to get to all the people, all these notifications, and it has to be very fast, because this app is basically saving lives.
What kind of pickup have you seen in activity, Ari, since the latest escalation?
Oh, wow, there's been a sharp increase in downloads, especially, in Israel, but we had around total around 80,000 downloads, because mainly the people in the South are mainly bombarded over the past 2 years since it's been available. But because everyone is a target now here in Israel, so we've seen, the Android, we have over 300,000, iOS also 300,000. And also, we have an iOS actually available in the States, thanks to Ron Dermer, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. That's also, we've seen a large increase in downloads there as well. So there's been a huge demand for this app in the past couple of weeks, unfortunately.
Now, Uzi, when it comes to the effectiveness of the Iron Dome, I've read differing reports. Some say it's 90% effective in terms of intercepting rockets. Some say it's more like 30 or 40%. What would you say?
Well, I'd say this. The numbers speak for themselves. If you have 30 or 40%, with about 2,000 rockets at Semonos by now, we would see a lot more Israeli casualties in our cities than we see now. And we see up to now, practically no one. I'm not talking about losses in the battlefront. I'm talking about losses in the city. Up to now, losses are very light, and let's hope it keeps this way. With the 40% score, it is impossible. Let's think about it. Thousands of rockets, hundreds coming every day. They should have landed somewhere in the built-up area, the Tel Aviv area, Ashdod area, and caused damage and casualties. But in fact, they are being blasted in winter. Not every one of them. The whole trick is to find out. See, those are not accurate weapons, the rockets that are coming in. Some of them are going to hit built-up area, and some of them don't. And you look with your sensor, the dangerous one, and you hit those ones. So up to now, I'd say Iron Dome threw up an effective wall of defense and prevented what could have been serious casualties, like today in Tel Aviv. The two rockets came in, you saw interceptions, you saw the heavy blast of the warhead in the air. This is not 30-50%. This is close to 90%.
Ari, let me ask you a question, and maybe it's not an easy one, but I wonder, obviously you've written your app in ways to try to help people be safe, but I wonder if you consider the fact that it also makes it easier in some regards for the state of Israel to sustain these rocket attacks and go on the offensive in Gaza and the terrible suffering of the people in Gaza, many of whom, are civilians and been affected by this. Does your app make it easier for Israel to go on the offensive against the people in Gaza?
Me and my partner Kobe, we created this to save lives, basically notify. But you have to understand here, the other side is targeting civilians. I was a tank commander in the Israeli army. We only target terrorists. We are fighting against terrorists. We're not targeting anybody else. It's unfortunate that that innocent people were killed, but I know firsthand as a tank commander in the Israeli army that we are only targeting terrorists. That's the only thing that we're targeting. Not only that, sometimes we've been in cases that we have to, even our own lives might be in jeopardy in order to save these people's lives and only hurt the terrorists. So I know that on firsthand. Thankfully, they don't need this kind of app. We need an app because they're targeting civilians. On the other hand, they're not so looking at the civilians so much.
Ari, a number of civilians, of course, have been killed in Gaza. A number of children have been killed in Gaza. So, Uzi, I guess I'd like to ask you a last question. If Israel has such sophisticated missile defense and missile detection technology, could this technology at all be used to better target places in Gaza where children aren't playing on the beach, for example?
Unfortunately, the errors happening everywhere, happening in the US too, happening everywhere that anyone is involved. When civilians are on the way, there's hardly a way to avoid damage like that. But let me not say that, I want to point an important fact. The Hamas has embedded its rockets, its offensive rockets inside civilian installations. In fact, there is no way to hit them except by hitting within civilian concentration. Let me stress this point. Every rocket that comes out from Gaza can be traced back exactly to where it came from. And that place can be hit, and the launcher, which is static, can be destroyed. We could have stopped that fire in about 1 hour. But the cost for that in human life would be tremendous, so we don't do it. And that's called human shielding, and that's what they are doing.
Uzi Rubin, I appreciate you sharing your perspective. Israeli missile defense expert Uzi Rubin in Israel, also Red Alert app creator Ari Sprung from Jerusalem.